This week, the NFL on Fox features Kyler Murray and the Cardinals against Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt call the game today at 4 on Fox 13.
You're watching Good Day Tampa Bay.
Right now at 7, tropical storm Milton forms in the Gulf of Mexico and could intensify into a hurricane with Tampa Bay right in its crosshairs.
And keeping the floodwater out, local emergency officials announcing sandbag locations ahead of the tropical storm where you can find them.
And as FEMA urges Floridians to prepare for the next storm, the agency opening registration assistance sites for those hit hard by Helene. We will show you where to find help. Good Sunday morning and welcome to Good Day Tampa Bay. I'm Matthew McClellan.
And I'm Mariah Harrison. Let's get right over to Val because we can see behind you. We've got some intense weather on the way.
Yeah, exactly. And not what we want to see as we're tracking a tropical storm that is expected to intensify on approach to the West Coast. But ahead of that, we have some rain in store for today and the next couple of days, in fact. So we turn to satellite and radar, and we're actually tracking a little area of low pressure ahead of that tropical system. That's what's bringing the rain to the state. So I talked about it yesterday if you were with us. Today starts our cooler, cloudy, and rainy pattern, and that's exactly what we are waking up to. We're going to be dealing with these rounds of rain on and off today. We've already had some showers. Those have kind of pushed inland, but as we look at our excessive rain outlook for today, notice those colors in yellow kind of stretching right along our coastline all the way down to the base of the peninsula and up parts of the East Coast. That's where we have a slight risk for some excessive rain, the potential for some flooding concerns. And to talk about that already today ahead of what's to come in the next few days, not a good thing to already be dealing with the potential for some heavy rain. Temperature-wise, it is 78 in Tampa, 75 for Bartow, Brandon, Crystal River. You're at 73, 77 right now in Newport Richey. And really, these temperatures are not going to budge much. We're talking highs today topping out in the upper 70s to low 80s. And of course, all eyes on the Gulf. I'm going to have all of the details coming up in just a couple of minutes. For now, back to you, Mariah.
Val, thank you. Well, as walls are still drying and debris is still piling from Hurricane Helene, our area, as you heard, prepping for yet another storm. Milton now swirling in the Gulf, threatening Florida's Gulf Coast. Hillsborough County opened up sandbagging sites last week, and now Pinellas County will do the same this weekend while temporarily shutting down some county resources.
Fox 13's Jennifer Vaglis talked to residents there in Pinellas to see how they are bracing for Milton.
Well, in the meantime, for those looking to get sandbags in Pinellas County, sites will be open today. Residents can fill up their bags from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. at John Chestnut Park and Palm Harbor Walsingham Park as well.
And in Pasco County, sandbag sites are now open and available for residents. You can find them at the locations we're going to show you on our screen. They are Magnolia Valley Golf Course, along with Pasco County Public Works, Veterans Memorial Park in Hudson, and Pasco Fire Rescue Station number 29 in Zephyr Hills. All stations are self-serve. They're open to Pasco County residents. Sand and sandbags will be restocked daily.
In the city of Tampa, also encouraging residents to get ready for more rain. Several sandbag sites are open across the city at locations like the Himes Avenue complex and at Al Barnes Park. Many across the city, they're still recovering from Helene. They tell us having to do this all again is stressful.
It's stressful.
Exhausted. Yeah, stressful, exhausted.
On the bright side, all of our personal belongings and floors and drywall are already gone. So now it's just a matter of keeping the water at bay.
Grabbing onto whatever silver linings we can. Okay, like we also mentioned earlier, Hillsborough County, they activated 3 sandbag locations last week. There's one at the Larry Sanders Progress Village Sports Complex on 78th Street, another at the E.G. Simmons Conservation Park in Ruskin, and the third at Ed Radis Sports Complex in Tampa.
And for those who are south in the city of Venice, a self-service sandbag station is set up at City Hall. And at Venice Public Works, there's a limit of 10 bags per vehicle there as well. Excuse me, Bradenton is also taking precautions. Sandbags will be available for residents at the Public Works Annex from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. today. You are limited to 10 bags per car.
Well, an update now on comfort stations. In preparation for Milton, the following areas will close their comfort stations until further notice. That includes Pasco County, Hillsborough County, and the city of Tampa. Organizers at all three, they say they'll return to the neighborhoods in need as soon as it's safe to remobilize. Now, once those comfort stations are reopened, the city of Tampa will offer free Uber vouchers for riders to their new locations. The Tampa Emergency Transportation Service offers vouchers for up to $25 off a 2-round trip to and from a comfort station. This is to help residents who've lost access to personal transportation due to storm-related vehicle flooding. This offer of free transport is valid through October 25th, and you can get it by visiting the link right there on your screen. That is tampa.gov/recovery rides, and then follow the instructions to sign up for that voucher. We also have a heads up for those who plan to visit the Insurance Village in Clearwater. This was a one-stop shop that opened up on Friday for those needing assistance with filing claims from Hurricane Helene. Well, operations there are closed today. That's one day early. This is in response to the now tropical storm, Milton.
With so many residents still cleaning up after Hurricane Helene, as we were just hearing, FEMA is offering support to those impacted in the hardest hit areas. The agency has opened 6 sites in Pinellas County where you can get help applying for federal disaster assistance. This will pay for temporary housing along with other costs. Fox 13's Jordan Bowen has more on the process and how hurricane victims can get help. It is 7:09 on this first Sunday of October, and ahead for us on Good Day, North Carolina still pushing forward with its own hurricane relief efforts.
Yeah, the military is lending a huge helping hand. We'll show you that. Plus, one of the most high-profile murder cases in modern American history is back in the spotlight. And reality TV star Kim Kardashian has a lot to say about it.
I think about Hurricane Helene, the way that it kind of barreled towards us and then followed our coast up and then heads for the Carolinas and Georgia. They behave so differently. You've got that one, which makes this wild swing northeast of us, and then we're looking at Milton, which looks like it's going to come straight across.
Directly.
Yeah, you know, Milton, you know, as you said, every storm is certainly unique. But the two that we've seen this season, the big difference, those paralleled our coasts. Those made big impacts for us. This one is heading directly across the Gulf of Mexico. So somewhere along the West Coast, we're looking at a direct landfall from this hurricane. So that completely changes the thought here, because of course, when we have that landfall, that eye wall coming on shore, we talk about the angle it hits the coast and the storm surge on the south side. It's going to just be a very different storm and a high impact storm, unfortunately, for our state, as it looks like at this time. And already seeing some impacts here as we turn to enhanced satellite. You can see all of this activity streaming across the state. We're already waking up to some showers. We did talk about this yesterday if you were tuning in with us. Today was kind of the start of this more active pattern as we're tracking 2 areas. One that's bringing us the rain today, and then what's coming on the way later in a couple of days. By Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to be talking about Milton on approach to Florida's west coast. So here's a look at where this storm is now and why this exploded so quickly. We went from talking about, you know, a 50-50 shot that it would develop on Friday to a tropical storm by Saturday afternoon. And actually what happened with this system is there was some remnants of a tropical system in the Pacific that was able to kind of emerge and kind of combine with this weak area that we were watching in the western Gulf of Mexico. So once it kind of tapped into the remnants of that Pacific system, it really just exploded very quickly. So here's where we're at with the 5 o'clock advisory. Winds now up even more, 50-mile-per-hour sustained winds. It's a very slow-moving storm at this point, moving to the east at about 5 miles per hour. So here's a look at what we're talking about with this track map. It kind of continues on that eastward path. By Tuesday, we're talking about a Category 2, possibly a Category 3 hurricane that is forecast to occur by Tuesday afternoon. That's when we get those winds up to 115 miles per hour. And we are pretty certain we've got a trough that's going to be digging in across parts of the Gulf Coast. So that starts to steer this storm then off to the north and east. Not a good situation for us, but keep in mind this cone paints the potential of where the center of circulation could come on shore. So we're still fine-tuning some details, but at this point, the big picture is clear. A major hurricane making landfall on Florida's west coast. That time frame likely to be on Wednesday, and a lot of our model plots continuing to be in pretty good agreement with that. Looks like those are kind of still sleeping on us this morning. We'll show you that in our next forecast. But already today, we've got the deep tropical moisture in place from an area of low pressure that's ahead of Milton. So what's going to be a concern is all of the rain that's coming today, tomorrow, before the main event. That's going to be late Tuesday night through the day on Wednesday. So the main story for today, on and off rounds of rain. We will be talking about some heavy rain at times with some flooding concerns already. We do have a flood watch that goes into effect from today, lasting until Thursday morning. And so with the cloudy conditions, highs, they're going to top out in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees today across the area. We'll stay in the low 80s for the next few days. By Thursday, we should be done with Milton. We're going to talk more details about that coming up in a few minutes. Matt?
Thanks, Val. Still to come here on Good Day. The holidays are coming, believe it or not, and that could mean extra Christmas money for job seekers.
Major retailers are about to kick into high gear to hire workers for the upcoming season. Plus, one of the biggest secrets in Nickelodeon's SpongeBob SquarePants is the Krabby Patty secret formula. And in a few days, you may be able to find out for yourself at Wendy's.
Welcome back. 7:20 the time, and in our business headlines, job numbers made a huge leap in September, and several industries made the biggest contributions to hiring. The strongest gains were in the leisure and hospitality sector. Food and drink establishments added 69,000 of these jobs. Meanwhile, healthcare payroll numbers went up 45,000, and government jobs, those rose 31,000. Social assistance added 27,000 workers, and construction jobs made 25,000 hirings. Speaking of jobs, the holiday shopping season is almost here. I don't even like to say those words. And major retailers like Amazon and Target, they are ramping up hiring. Amazon says it'll hire about 250,000 full-time, part-time, and seasonal workers. And stores like Target and Bath & Body Works, they say they will add 100,000 employees and offer current employees the chance to work extra hours during the holidays. Meanwhile, Dick's Sporting Goods is looking to hire nearly 8,000 seasonal workers for this year's holiday season. Okay, some turbulence for budget airline Spirit. Yes, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal, the airline is discussing the possibility of filing for bankruptcy. The airline is also looking into restructuring its balance sheets as it struggles to combat declining revenue. Spirit's last annual profit came before the COVID-19 pandemic more than 4 years ago. Spirit is reportedly more than $3.3 billion in debt. The Krabby Patty is coming to the real world, straight from Bikini Bottom, in honor of the 25th anniversary of SpongeBob SquarePants. Paramount and Wendy's, they are teaming up to launch the Krabby Patty collab. It features 2 menu items, a pineapple under the sea Frosty and a Krabby Patty collab burger. Both items will be available nationwide starting Tuesday for a limited time only. And if only you could hear my colleague Mariah Harrison singing the song.
As long as they don't forget the pickles.
You got to have the pickles. Okay, still to come. AI popping up everywhere, even our glasses. Meta's new high-tech shades are going viral. We will show you what they look like. Plus, a new debate over flight etiquette. This woman sparking a controversy and a conversation over personal space with a viral video.
Sundays, NFL coverage starts with Fox NFL Kickoff at 11.
This is great TV.
It is caught. Then it's Fox NFL Sunday at noon.
This kid has it all.
The best NFL pregame shows are back-to-back, only on Fox.
Then stick around for the Cardinals-49ers matchup Sunday at 4 on Fox 13.
Most importantly. Much more to come in our next half hour. One of the biggest issues after a hurricane is actually online. Officials are warning against misinformation when it comes to Helene relief. We've got that. Plus, Valerie Mills will have a look at your Sky Tower forecast right after this break. Keep it here.
America on Edge. From Helene's aftermath to mounting Middle East concerns, Shannon details how it's all impacting the election on Fox News Sunday.
Hurricane Helene devastated parts of the Tampa Bay area. Thousands of people have been impacted, and the best way you can help is through the Red Cross. Scan this QR code or go to redcross.org/foxforward, and your donation will provide safe shelter, hot meals, and emotional support to those in need. It's an easy way to make a big difference in our community.
You're
You're watching Fox 13's Good Day Tampa Bay.
Well, good Sunday morning, everyone. We are waking up to some gloomy conditions around the area. We're socked in with the cloud cover, and we're going to be tracking these showers on and off through the day today. 78 right now in Tampa. East wind about 5 miles per hour. Not too much sunshine out there really on any of our weather cameras. And already we've been dealing with the showers. They've been pretty light, but as we turn to Sky Tower radar right now, not seeing any of those coming down over our immediate area, but we've got some more showers and storms out in the Gulf. And you can see those off the East Coast as well. So overall, an active pattern starts today for the state as we're going to be talking about these ongoing showers the next few days ahead of what's going to be the main event. That will be on Wednesday as Milton approaches our coast. For right now, mid-70s for a lot of our inland spots, 75 right now for Lakeland. Brooksville, you're at 76 as well as Sarasota, and we're at 81 right now in St. Pete. Winds are mostly pretty breezy along the coast, up to 15 miles per hour there in St. Pete. For the rest of us, about 9 miles per hour out of the east in Lakeland, 5 to 6 for Tampa, Sarasota areas. There's a look at our rainfall maps for the next couple of days. We do have a flood watch that starts at 11 o'clock this morning, and that runs all the way through Thursday morning for our Bay Area spots. What is going to be a concern is the rain that we'll be dealing with today, tomorrow, Tuesday. Ahead of all of that rain, you can see that very clearly on the Wednesday map. That is what we're talking about with Milton moving through those bright pink colors. That's what we're talking about, torrential rains to be possible. So not a good trend for us here around the Bay Area. We're going to talk more details about that coming up. Matt, Mariah.
Thanks, Val. As we just heard from Valerie, Tropical Storm Milton is on course for Florida. Could slam right into Tampa Bay.
And many Bay Area communities are already bracing for severe weather later this week. Fox 13's Regina Gonzalez is live with more on this. And Regina, officials are warning residents to get ready now, not later.
That's right, Mariah. It's literally deja vu. I know we all just did this, but as we brace for whatever Milton will bring, officials are just telling people to basically evaluate the plans that you had made for Helene and how they worked, and to make any changes accordingly, because there is a chance that some areas across the Tampa Bay region could see even harsher conditions than we did during Helene. Now, with that being said, we know all of our local counties are now once again in preparation mode. In Pinellas County, for example, our team caught up with the emergency management crew last night, and as you can imagine, they've been extremely busy. At any given time, they're staffed with up to 300 employees from different levels of government, each working between 12 to 15 hours a day over the past 2 weeks. Right now, the EOC is operating at a level 1, which means all hands on deck. And on one hand, they're still working on Helene aftermath with damage assessments, debris pickup, and FEMA help. And on the other hand, they're bracing for what's to come.
We've been having daily meetings with partners up and down the levels of government. We've been meeting with the National Hurricane Center, with FEMA, with the state, with our municipal partners, and with other agencies in the county. That happened before the storm. It's been happening after the storm. And those are the same people that we're going to be talking to prepare for whatever Milton might bring our way.
Meanwhile, folks across the Bay Area are continuing to spend their weekends getting damaged household debris out of their homes, where they saw several feet of storm surge during Helene. It just inundated houses and businesses along the coast. And as our community prepares for Milton, some options to consider for your storm debris, if they're not picked up by at least Tuesday night, include leaving it curbside, bundled or covered, or securing it in an enclosed area like a garage or shed, where it wouldn't be as easy for it to obviously fly around. Local entities are stressing that crews are now working to get to everyone as fast as they possibly can. We know Governor DeSantis even mentioned that when he issued a state of emergency for several different counties on the west coast of Florida. Now, sandbag sites are opening up again basically in every city and county across our region, so be sure to check with your local entity. Now, of course, is also the time once again again, to make sure you know which evacuation zone you are in and to take those warnings very seriously. We'll send it back to you.
Regina, so glad that you mentioned securing that debris, because we know how quickly in a storm situation those damaged items on the curb can become projectiles. So that's really good information there. And of course, we'll check in with you next hour. Thank you.
Regina also mentioned sandbag sites, and we're going to be bringing those to you here at the top of the hour again as well. The death toll from Hurricane Helene continues to climb. More than 230 people are known to have died from this storm, making this the deadliest one to the United States since Hurricane Katrina. And as crews clean up across our area and all the way up through North Carolina, it's more important that people be informed of what is actually happening on the ground. Fox's CB Cotton tells us how folks are not just faced with the cleanup, they also have to watch for disinformation.
Well, stepping away from storm coverage now to cover a few other headlines in the Bay Area. In Hillsborough, a man is in custody following a standoff in Tampa just before 2:30 Saturday afternoon. Police received a call about the man walking around armed. This all happened in front of a home on North McDill Avenue. When police arrived, they say the man barricaded himself inside. Well, take a look at this video. After negotiations, the man was able to leave the home where he was arrested without any issues.
Meanwhile, in Pinellas County, a SWAT situation leads to an arrest in Pinellas Park. This happened around 2 p.m. Saturday on 50th Way North. Police responded to an armed domestic disturbance, and when officers got there, they found 2 female hostages. The suspect, Russell Rippey, was inside and armed with an AR-15 style weapon along with several handguns. The SWAT team was able to get the 2 women out safely. The suspect, Rippey, whose mugshot we're working to bring you here, was arrested without injury and taken to the Pinellas County Jail. He's been charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. It is 7:38, and still to come here on Good Day, where are the best cities in America for foodies?
A new study says you are not far from one of them. We'll explain. Plus, we have a cute face that needs a forever home. Maybe it's yours. Oh, some cute paws, too.
Little mystery here.
Some real stature.
Oh, she's beautiful.
On our Pet of the Week this morning. We'll introduce you when we come back.
Hey, Mariah. Good Sunday morning, everyone. I just wanted to note to you that we actually have a flood watch that goes into effect later this morning for pretty much our entire Bay Area down to the southern base of the peninsula. This flood watch is set to run through Thursday morning. So we're going to be dealing with these on and off rain showers, some locally heavy rain possible today, right on through Wednesday night. We've got more details coming up on the other side of this break.
From detecting classic summertime thunderstorms to seeking out beautiful Bay Area sunsets, count on the power of Sky Tower Radar.
Okay, 7:42, and it is our Pet of the Week. This is Gypsy. She's a purebred Great Dane. Look how beautiful she is.
Statuesque.
Yeah, you don't see this breed at shelters too often. Most of them look like my dog. Not Gypsy. She's very well trained. She's house trained as well. Spent time with kids, we're told, and she's great with them. Great Danes are watchdogs, so she's very protective over this family, would be protective over your family, and would make any companion or family very happy, we're told.
This beautiful coat that you see is called Merle. It's that gray with the black speckles. And look, can you see this? Is this Riot? She's actually sitting on the bench with me. Oh, she doesn't like the bench. Never mind. Okay. She's not sure where she wants to go, but she's 105 pounds of pure love.
I want to squeeze Gypsy. She's so cute.
Bad.
She would thrive best, we're told, being the only dog in the home, okay? So if you've got another dog, you can still bring it to the shelter for a meet and greet with Gypsy, see how they get along. The Humane Society of Tampa Bay is open today from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And check this out.
While we didn't have a pet of the week last week because of the storm, Sherry tells us that the Humane Society, they've actually extended their pet pantry hours. So they used to only be open on Tuesday and Saturday. Well, now they're going to stay open 7 days a week as long as there's a need for it. So if you weren't affected by the storm but have an extra bag of dog or cat food that you can drop off, you know, it'll really make a difference for someone in need. And we also know that while we storm prep, we definitely have to remember our four-legged friends. Got to make sure you have the food, water bottles for them even. There's just a lot that you got to remember.
And I just saw at one point over the past week, one of our, I think it was Hillsborough County's Pet Resource Center, they were at 150% capacity after this storm. So it's so critical that we take care of our pets, bring them with us when we evacuate. All things we've got to think in mind in the next keep in mind in the next few days.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to believe, 10 days ago we were talking about all of the impacts from Helene, and now here we are bracing for another storm to take aim at Florida. So I think at this point, we're still fine-tuning the details of the forecast. What you can do is stay up to date with making sure you're kind of topping off your kits. Anything that you noticed from Helene, now is the time to make sure you're kind of taking those steps for preparation. Make sure you know your evacuation zone. Of course, we've got a lot of good resources online. Florida Disaster, that's where you can kind of find more detailed look at this. But I wanted to kind of just show you this evacuation zones map. So it's important to know where you're at, zone A, zone B, and to have a plan in place, because I think it is likely later today we'll see the first of Florida watches and warnings issued ahead of Milton. Right now, we don't have any of those for the U.S. We have some of those out near the Bay of Campeche, and that's pretty much where they are for today. But I do think the National Hurricane Center will start to issue some of those advisories for today. Here's a look at where Milton is now, still hanging out in the far western Gulf of Mexico. Very slow moving, but this is going to start to pick up some speed to the east. And here's a look at all of our model plots, which are in relatively good agreement, but you can see some spread there as we're talking about where that potential landfall will occur. And you can see, there is some pretty good consensus right over Tampa Bay, but we've got a couple of outliers that take it a little bit more down into the southwest coast, and a couple of model runs that take it up to the north of Tampa Bay. So regardless, this is going to be a big impact for Florida's west coast, but where exactly that landfall occurs is going to make some big differences, because what we're talking about with this storm is right along the eye wall and to the south, there is going to be a stretch of coast that really gets the worst of this storm, especially as far as the storm surge, as far as the winds are concerned. So those are some of the details that we're kind of fine-tuning at this point, because it's important to remember, as we're looking at this cone, this cone extends a little over 300 miles. So that's the area right now that we're looking at for potential landfall. And so there is still that margin of error as we're 4 days out. And so we will continue to see some tweaks, see this cone get a little bit tighter as we continue to watch it. But kind of the main story is this path that we're watching. And this is a smaller storm than what we saw with Helene. That one was a very big storm for us. But unfortunately, it looks like the conditions are in place for this to continue to strengthen. We thought maybe it would encounter some of this stronger wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico, but it really doesn't look like that's going to inhibit the storm. So Wednesday, that's the day that we're watching for potential landfall. Do what you need to do to get prepared for this storm. Now, of course, we're going to continue to bring you more updates, and the next day or so we'll have more of those important updates to come. But there's your 7-day forecast. Low 80s, highest rain and storm chances Wednesday. Then we clear this storm out Thursday and Friday.
Thanks, Fallon. Our storm coverage continues after the break, but in the meantime, where are the best cities for foodies to grab a bite to eat? A new study says Tampa is one of them.
Yeah, this comes from a new list by financial website Wallet Hub. So the city, Tampa, came in 5th after 2 other cities in Florida. Miami took the top spot, followed by San Francisco, and Orlando and Portland took 3rd and 4th respectively. Wallet Hub used several factors for its list, including diversity, affordability, quantity, and quality of restaurants. I do always see an Orlando food stop, like when I open up.
Any surprises here for you?
Portland, maybe, but only because I've never been there and don't know much about it.
I know. I feel like I got to travel more. I consider myself a foodie. I got to get on the road.
Been to the other ones, though.
Okay, still to come, Keanu Reeves, actor, picking up a new career.
That's right. He just hit the road for his professional racing debut. Okay, plus Bravo's next reality show is all about the wives and girlfriends of the Kansas City Chiefs. But the big question is, will Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes go on camera? We have the answer. You got to wait for it, though. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. 9 minutes to 8, and topping our news and entertainment, Bravo is creating a new reality TV show featuring wives and girlfriends of the Kansas City Chiefs.
But 2 famous women will not be lining up to go on camera.
The Radleys.
The Radleys.
All right, still to come for us. Oktoberfest is happening in Germany, but you can still enjoy it right here.
And one establishment is celebrating with good beer and good food. We'll tell you where.
You're watching Good Day Tampa Bay.
Welcome back. October means fall for many, but it also means Oktoberfest for Eastern Europeans.
Fox 13 photojournalist Jason Wright takes us to Schiller's to learn about this annual festival that's not just about the beer. Ooh, I love all that stuff.
Little schnitzel.
That sounds so good.
Okay, that does it for the news at 7.
Good Day at 8 starts now.